was. Then you come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I had to cover this. I mean, this is just, it really just sums up where we are as a society. It sums up pretty much what you see when you go to the mall, when you go drive in a car somewhere. Just look around, observe people, watch their behavior. And this may have been made as a satire piece, but it was made. And it was made to prepare people, because eventually with transhumanism, this is going to solve the problem of zombies walking around on their phones, walking into things. You might recall many years ago when I covered the Pokemon Go. Remember, blurring the lines between reality and the virtual world, people walking around on their phones, seeing Pokemons in their phones with the actual world around them, and walking into things, even walking off cliffs, no joke. Well, this is so apropos, as they say. This is called the third eye. And it's a eye that you put where your third eye is supposed to be, which has to do with your chakra, with yoga, with transhumanism playing into this, of course, summoning demons and deities as yoga does. All this stuff, it works so perfectly, doesn't it, for a device like this to be created? And eventually, I know this looks ridiculous with what I'm about to show you, and I get it that people aren't going to go through with this, but I guarantee you, with transhumanism, this will all be working. Remember the Google glasses, where people were putting the glasses on? Well, all of this stuff from credit cards, everything going into your body in transhumanism, has to do with everything going on in the world. So, take a look at the third eye.
This might look a bit silly, but as mankind continues down its path of smartphone addiction, it may become a necessity. This is what South Korean industrial designer Peng Min-wook calls the third eye, a device he says may solve the smombie, or smartphone zombie problem, where users are so enamored by their screens they run the chance of injury by tripping or running into something. So how does it work? The headset features a gyroscope and camera. When the user angles their neck down to look at their phone, the eyelid opens, turning the camera on, and it features an ultrasonic sensor that can detect incoming objects, issuing a beeping sound if the wearer is on a collision course. South Korea is likely one of the best places to test the device's functionality, as it has the highest smartphone usage per capita in the world. Though Peng says this device isn't really a solution to the problem, more a satirical look at a modern-day issue, all in the hopes people will begin to notice the problem and address device addiction.
Oh, just the fact that somebody even makes, has made something like this. And again, the whole mindset of it is they're saying that people are zombies, they're face planting into things on their phone, and they don't even realize that they're making fun of them in a sense by creating a device like this. I mean, that is what, from what I've read, to be fair to the person who created it, it was to mock, but it's also, these things are to prepare. Because people see something like this, they're like, well, it's not a bad idea. I need to be alerted when I'm walking around on my phone. Actually, have you tried going out and not using your phone? Have you tried walking around without texting? You should try leaving the house just once and leaving your phone behind on purpose and see what it's like to be in a real world, not in Fortnite, not in fantasy land, the real world. Now, I mentioned in a previous video, I had gone into some gamer. I put in live streams in the YouTube search one night. I couldn't sleep. I wish I was asleep. Like, not asleep from this stuff, but I mean, literally, I wish I had fallen asleep, because what I saw was frightening. But these gamer channels, these people play games, and this isn't a shot at people who have played video games, or if you play, but I mean, this is about what's to come, too, with the virtual world, with this movie with Ryan Reynolds, which I covered. That video is on my other channel. People have been asking me to cover it. I've already covered it with the virtual world with the Ryan Reynolds movie. It's on my other channel, which is linked below, because at the time, this channel had a strike, so I couldn't upload here, so I had to upload there. So make sure you're over on those channels and subscribe so you get the notifications, and click the bell as well. But the blurring of lines, so I was in these gamer rooms. I mean, these people literally are in fantasy land. They're talking about the stuff in the game like it's really going on. Like, you remember when, video games first come out, you play the video game, it's like, you're playing Mario Brothers 3, yeah, you're getting the leaf, you're flying around, okay. Well, in these games now, these kids literally think that they're in the game, the way that they act, because it's like a virtual world. They're like buying things, they're planting, it's insanity, but that's where it's all heading with transhumanism. And of course, getting people to take the jab, do these things that Big Brother wants them all to do. You can tell the mindset of these people is as long as they have their technology and their devices, then they're fine, then they're happy, then they're satisfied. Don't mess with their fantasy land and their fantasy reality. They don't want to, nor can they handle what's happening in the real world. So while they're in there, they're relying on Big Brother to take care of everything. Big Brother will feed you. Big Brother will give you the electricity to play. Just continue to go about your business, be a mindless zombie, and continue forward while we build a new world order around you. And then when we decide to expire you, we'll expire you. But the trumpets could sound before that. But either way, it's just a waste of time and a waste of life how people are living. And I'm not sitting here on a high horse, because I question if I'm even helping anyone with my channel or helping enough people with my channel. I feel like I help a lot of people on my channel, but I don't help enough people in my real life who I know. But again, like I always tell you guys, it's harder to wake up the people closest to you than it is to wake up others, because they've already identified you, labeled you, they've known you for X amount of time. How would you know this? How would you know that? That's why it's so hard to telling your mother and father, right? Trying to explain to them all this stuff. Because they raised you. How would you know more than they would, right? Well, they submitted to the system just like their parents did it. We're all in this situation because of generation after generation passing this forward. So back to this technology here. This is where our world is headed. This is where transhumanism is headed. So people won't have to literally walk around and bump into things, but it shows you they will accept these things and take these things and want these things in their body because they can't live without this type of technology, this useless technology that they think is so, what's the proper word? They think has evolved humanity. Humanity's evolved because of this. Humanity's regressed. Technology's evolved, and they're ready to replace humanity. They're ready to replacing people all over the world. Their jobs are gone. They're replacing even something like a UPS driver with drones, pizza delivery with drones, drivable cars that drive to your front door, and the pizza pops, and all of this stuff. They don't need humans. The elites despise us.
You never know when inspiration will hit. But when it does, we'll help make sure it stays right where it belongs. Trademark your brand with LegalZoom. LegalZoom, let's make it official.
That building you're trying to buy, you should 10x it. 10x it? 10x is the world's largest online commercial real estate exchange. You see it, you want it, you 10x it. It's that fast. If I could, I'd 10x everything. Like,
and guess what? For those of you who, I hate to use the word liberal, because the people who are on the left and right are both in the same problem, and they are both the same problem for society, but we'll just say the word liberal for the time being, who count on Big Brother and love Big Brother. Well, Big Brother doesn't love you. Satan doesn't love you. And you're protecting them and protecting their system. And while they need you still, they need you now, not to do jobs that are servient of them or sitting in. They need you now to be the division amongst the people, right? The left and right. That is such an important ingredient for the elites right now, is the left and right, because no one's looking in the right direction. They're looking at one another. And granted, the way, obviously, if I was going to side with one, I would side with the right, but they're just as bad as the left because they're not figuring out what the real problem is. And don't take offense to that because you might be in the right. We all know how bad, the left is with the stuff with children, technology, Big Brother, serving Big Brother, loving Big Brother. Anyway, this type of technology is going to be inside of people's body, implemented into their bodies. They are going to accept this without blinking. They aren't even gonna blink. Where we're like, that's why a lot of these people don't understand us, even with the Jabberoo, the magic potion. They're like, why won't they take it? You think this younger generation now, the one I'm speaking of with the video gaming, like living in the video game, not just playing the video game, they think it's reality. They don't see any of this stuff going on because they believe exactly what they're told, and as long as they can play the game, that's all that matters. They're not going to blink when this is asked upon them. They don't understand why people like us won't even take the magic potion. You think that they're going to blink when they say, ooh, you can have virtual reality without putting on glasses, without the TV. You can see it, you can live it, you can feel it, you could be a superhero, right? All of the programming I've talked about over the years, superheroes, transhumanism, right, but the superhero concept, constantly pushing it. It's not because it's some creative art. Oh gosh, they came up with this idea, flying ant. Huh? What? It's the notion of superheroes mixed with magic powers. This is all for transhumanism. And things like this device are exactly where we're headed. I thought this was the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Well, I've probably said that many times, so maybe not. But maybe actually we should give this to some of the zombies now who are walking around and bumping into people and bumping into things. And it's a shame too. I've had people bump into me. You can't really do what you'd like to do because everyone's protected by Big Brother. And like, oh, it's an accident. It's not an accident. You're walking around texting. Wake up. Snap out of it. You want to do that stuff? Go sit in your bedroom and do it. You can get off the device for 5 seconds, I think. Well, who am I kidding? They can't. And that's why they need things like this. Warn them. They're like walking across you. Warning, a car's coming. The thing will vibrate. Oh, my goodness. Wow, really? Sick world, sad world. But this is the world and where it's headed. I want to remind everyone, check out the website at callfornuprising.com. It's $2.99 a month. Please check it out if you haven't. I uploaded a video earlier today. 2 videos. At least if I upload this the day I think I'm uploading it. But just make sure you check and see. I know a lot of notifications aren't going out because of the amount of content I'm putting out. I'm not saying, well, we already know channels like mine are suppressed anyway from where we should be and the views we should be getting based on our subs and stuff like that. But I know for a fact one of them didn't send notifications out about Gonzo from the Muppets. So look for it if you haven't seen it. See what they're doing with the programming for the kids, whether you have kids or not. It's frightening. So check that out and make sure every day you check and see or have videos up because sometimes you may not get notifications. You don't have to watch them if you don't want, but just in case you like to watch all of them, make sure you check for yourself to see they're there, and make sure you sub to my other channels if you get a chance. I'd appreciate that. That way we don't lose touch if you're not on the website, and you can share the information and stuff in case you can't find me, you'll know where I am. So anyway, this is the world, folks. 2021 only getting worse. Thanks for listening. God bless all of you.